In the 21st century, modern transportation and communication methods have connected the world like never before. Products or ideas, no matter where in the world they may have originated, can spread to even the most remote countries. A hip-hop hit in Brooklyn might make it big in Tokyo before it's even heard in Manhattan. This cultural interconnection has transformed the globe. But is it new? Mainstream archaeologists believe ancient civilizations such as those found in the remote Pacific Islands, Asia, and South America developed independently from each other. But ancient astronaut theorists contend that similarities in building styles and beliefs found in these cultures suggest that a worldwide trade route may have connected them to each other.
But just like we have airports today around the world, in ancient times with the vimanas, there would have been hangars for the craft, airports for them to land, and those airports would have been situated in strategic places around the world. And that's exactly what we see in remote places.
Could the complex set of lines covering Peru's Nazca Plain or the mysterious plateau above Mexico's Oaxaca Valley be evidence of runways for a worldwide air transportation system?
One of the unusual archaeological sites in Mexico is a place called Monte Alban. That is also a mountain where the top of the mountain was completely cut off and leveled to make a very flat tabletop mountain. And there's a megalithic city there too that's extremely old. This was probably some kind of Vimana airport.
The Vimanas could be kind of missing link between the single cultures in the world, because they had just a very short time to flow from one part of the world to the other.
Legends of air travel are also found in ancient Africa and the Middle East. According to the Kebra Nagast, a holy book of the Ethiopians, written sometime before the 2nd century AD, the Queen of Sheba was once given a gift of a flying carpet by King Solomon of Israel.
The Kebra Nagast is one of the most important texts you've never heard of. The Kebra Nagast means the Book of Kings, and it is the most sacred book of the Ethiopians. In it, King Solomon, it's described, he had access to some type of a flying machine. And in that part of the world, the term flying carpet was always used very liberally. My question is, did they really mean actual flying carpets, or was it another term with which to describe some type of a flying machine?
This was the original chariots of the gods that Eric von Däniken talked about. The flying magic carpets of the Arabian Nights stories. There are traditions in the Middle East of King Solomon having this airship and flying to different places in the Middle East, certain mountains, which are known as the Mountains of Solomon. These may have been certain airports or landing areas for these vimanas. Nicholas Roerich, famous Russian-American explorer who traveled all through Central Asia and Tibet in the 1920s, he too claimed that Tibetans had traditions of King Solomon flying to Tibet in this aircraft.
The Kebra Nagast also describes how King Solomon used his flying airship to make maps of the world. But could these have any relation to other ancient maps some believe may have been made by extraterrestrials?
Some of these maps show the world not as it looks today, but as it looked during the last ice age. And this is really hard to explain. Everybody's heard of the Piri-Reis map, but they've perhaps not heard of the Rontius-Phineas map or the Mercator maps that show Antarctica in great detail, hundreds of years before Antarctica was even discovered.
One of the most referenced stories of ancient aircraft is found in a surprising place, the Bible. In the book of Ezekiel, the prophet describes a flying chariot containing wheels within wheels and powered by angels. Although Bible historians suggest Ezekiel was speaking symbolically about the terrifying enemies facing Israel, could this be another example of an alien visitation and proof that prehistoric aircraft existed?
In the story of Ezekiel's throne chariot, this flying vehicle that doesn't seem to have any means of propulsion, if we thought of the word angel as representing something like celestial energy, it sounds much more like a spacecraft then, because some of the angels are going back and forth. Well, that sounds like flames. That sounds like propulsion. Some of them are wheel-like. Well, those sound like flying saucers.
Our ancestors weren't idiots. Ezekiel saw something that was so frightening to him that he fell to his knees. Then, out of the glory of God came this being in these bright clothes that looked like metal and told Ezekiel, "All right, man, we brought you here. We want you to measure this monument, this building." And Ezekiel asks, "Well, why should I do this?" And the being says, "That's why we brought you here." And then you have 40 pages in the second part of the book of Ezekiel with measurement after measurement after measurement of this gigantic building, in which, by the way, the glory of the Lord landed.
In the early 1970s, NASA scientist Joseph Blumrich set out to disprove the theory that what Ezekiel witnessed was a spaceship.
Joseph Blumrich is your proverbial rocket scientist. He worked on the moon project for NASA, and from the mind of a rocket engineer, started to look at what was written in the first part of the book of Ezekiel, and after many months of research, Joseph Blumrich came to the conclusion that what Ezekiel described in his eyewitness report, it was indeed a type of spacecraft.